Hey, 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 it is Wargame Wednesday. So come on in, pull up a chair, the Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com. So today, or I should say tonight, is Wednesday, May 15th, 2019. That's right, on Wednesdays, I like to tackle war games. Robert Moffat's already in chat, sitting there going, hey, is it 8 o'clock yet? Is it 8 o'clock yet? Well, not where I'm at, it's not 8 o'clock. So, it's just a couple minutes after 7. So, welcome aboard. This is going to be a fun night. I am going to actually be unboxing and taking a first look at Combat Commander Europe from GMT Games. This is designed by Chad Jensen. This game's actually been out for a while. This is the 4th printing. That's how popular Combat Commander Europe has been. It is the 4th printing. So I also want to point out, let me double check something real quickly here. Since it is Wednesday, Wargame Wednesday, it is sponsored by my good friends over at Flying Pig Games, as well as Tiny Battle Publishing. That's right. If you're looking for big box, big meaty war games, some science fiction stuff, not all war games, you kind of aim for the Flying Pig Games website. And if you're looking for a smaller footprint Ziploc bag or Polylock bag, I guess they like to say, by all means, swing on over to tinybattlepublishing.com. I'll have some Tiny Battle Publishing news in just a little bit. So, I see Viper Dave is popping in chat. An Unscripted and Unchained RPG review is here. Dan from No Enemies Here is listening to Mozart's Requiem, and then the bell rang for your show. So, hey, Mozart's dead. I'm still around. Come on. Jeez. So, cheers everybody in chat. And as you can see, there is chat available because this is a live show. If you have not tuned in before, this is very, very casual. Just kind of kick it, talking about tabletop games, a little bit of pop culture every once in a while. Every episode usually has an unboxing of some sort, hint, hint, or a review. So welcome aboard if this is your first time in. Chat is available. It is not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of these stranger commenters at bay. But I do pay attention to chat. So if you'd like to say hello, or maybe you have a question, or maybe there'll be something about Combat Commander Europe you want a closer look at, by all means, let me know. Chime in. So Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review says, I just did a Twilight 2000 first edition box opening. Sweet. I had that. I had Twilight 2000. In fact, I remember, I don't know why we got this, I don't know how we got this wild hair up our butts at the time, but I remember we actually hole punched, like the 3-hole punch, so you could put it into a folder, like a binder. We 3-hole punched Twilight 2000. The core book, I think we had like a couple of, I think like City of Warsaw was one of them, was one of the like the modules, adventures, whatever, supplements. So there were like 2 or 3 supplements we had hole punched in that. I don't know why. And then we put it in a binder, and it actually didn't work that well. So I don't know. But yeah, that's cool. Very cool. As you and you is sitting here, promoting their channel on my video. Is Dan chiming in next? Is Dan gonna? No, I'm just messing. I'm just joking around. I'm in a good mood tonight, although I'm gonna get a little frosty after the news tonight. Before we jump into the unboxing, I swear people on Twitter just drive me nuts. But we'll get into the news first. I got a little bit of news, not anything, not tons of news. I have 4 news pieces today. I know there are people out there who can't stand the tabletop gaming news of the day. It tends to be people on Wargame Wednesdays who complain that it's like, oh, there's like 20 minutes of commercials. Look at the show notes, folks. Look at the show notes. You can skip right on past the news, and I don't have to see comments like, can't believe I had to wait 30 minutes before I finally get to the unboxing. It's like, no, that's not how YouTube works. You know, you can actually move that little ball, jump right ahead. Or actually, on YouTube itself, when I put the timestamps in there, those are actually links to jump to the next section. So anyway, so Robert says, my wife would gibsmack me if I did that again. And yes, Rob likes the news. Hey, so does you and you. You and you likes the game news too. I normally have some kind of less trumpeted, I guess we'll say, news pieces. Because there's some stuff that I see like everybody covering. That's why you see a little bit of Fantasy Flight Games news, usually when they're doing some RPG stuff. But for the most part, I don't put up Fantasy Flight Game news all that much. But I like to focus on some companies that deserve a little push. Speaking of companies that might need a little push, actually it doesn't really need a little push. There is a new release available from, yes, today's sponsor, Tiny Battle Publishing, and I've got the dope. Rifles in the Pacific is the second of Gottardo Zancani's Solitaire Rifles series. I am guessing on the pronunciation. Hopefully, I am close. He is the designer of Rifles in the Ardennes. Rifles in the Pacific recreates the sweaty palms action that characterized the Pacific theater in World War II in a unique single-player format. We've replaced the hex maps typical of World War II games with 3 beautiful yet abstracted maps representing the Pacific theater and allowing for endless battlefield customization. A simple solitaire system recreates small firefights, 5 to 10 units per side, over a bevy of scenarios, including beach assaults, riverbank defense, random jungle patrols, raids on anti-aircraft gun emplacements and radio stations. I don't know, for some reason that just kind of makes me laugh. It's just like, all right, we're going to take down WKRP. Let's go! We need to raid that radio station. I'm taking Lenny Anderson with me. And there's also a campaign linking the missions together. Blind shit draws and die rolls combined with artfully crafted charts create an impressive artificial intelligence, imbuing the game with true fog of war. A fast-paced and exciting solitaire World War II game, Rifles in the Pacific offers electrifying tactical challenges in a tiny package from Tiny Battle Publishing. Rifles in the Pacific is a solitaire game. It's for ages 12 and up, plays in around an hour or 2, probably depending on the scenario. It is available right now for $33. So very, very cool. This is going to be on its way to me. There are a few things from Tiny Battle that are on its way. Well, first of all, I should say, YA Magazine is in the mail. YA Magazine issue 12. So we will get a chance to take a look at YA Magazine as well as their game, which I want to say, I think it's MacArthur's Defeat. I think that's the game that's in it, in this edition, this issue. Also, Tango Down, which is that tactical combat game. So that should be on its way. Also, I got some expansions for In the Trenches, which is a World War I game. But I didn't have the core games. So Eddie asked me if I wanted to take a look at Rifles in the Pacific, which of course I do. I love solitaire games. And I also mentioned, hey, do me a favor if you could possibly send those along. So he is going to is going to be sending that along. I'm just taking a peek over at chat here. So Rob Moffat's like, hey, that ain't Crowbar. No, Crowbar is from Flying Pig Games. And Crowbar's not out yet. I don't have the exact date yet. Should be soon. Should be soon. Yeah, Tango Down ain't about dancing, baby. That's right, Rob. You got that right. Hey, Paul Nolan's popping in. Good to see you, Paul. Welcome aboard. Everybody's kind of rolling along in chat tonight so far. So, do want to point out, and I'm going to get a little frosty with this news piece, I guess, but there is a fresh miniatures arena game that's on horizon from Privateer Press, and I've got a wee bit of dope about Riot Quest. And no, this is not a meetup of Quiet Riot and the film Vision Quest. The once great Iron Kingdoms are now a pile of smoldering ruins, sort of like the Privateer Press Company. But there's treasure everywhere if you got the gumption to fight for it. You'll need a crackerjack crew, gobs of gear, and lots of love for the chaos of battle if you're going to score the best leftover loot in the land. But watch out, it's every human, dwarf, elf, and goblin for themselves in this outrageous quest for bodacious booty. Booty as in loot, folks, as in loot. Riot Quest is a fast-moving, highly unpredictable skirmish board game for up to 4 players using hobby miniatures. Everything a player needs to jump headfirst into the insanity of Riot Quest is contained in this single-player starter box. Inside, you'll find 5 premium-quality hobby miniatures. I'm not sure if they're plastic or metal. There is no indication of what they are. I'm guessing they're probably metal. A full-color Riot Quest, I almost said Quiet Riot. A full-color Riot Quest arena map, Riot Quest dice, a rulebook, and all the game cards and tokens needed. This box represents the core product that all Riot Quest players will need to pick up and expand upon. The rules are simple enough that a player can be played... No, that's not right. Let's try this way. The rules are simple enough that a player can be playing... not played, you don't play a player, in no time, and the models included provide them with a balanced starting crew to begin their journey into the apocalypse. The Riot Quest starter box will carry an MSRP of $49.99 when it arrives in August. Yes, I made a Quiet Riot reference, and I made a reference to Vision Quest, which... I remember I saw that as a teenager. I think I was fairly young. And I thought it sucked. I don't know. I did not know what everybody was all worked up about Vision Quest. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, it's a movie. So, don't know. I don't know. Okay, so one thing I want to point out is... So the game itself, the Riot Quest game, does look like it would be fairly interesting. Here's where I've kind of got a little bit of an issue. So the box is a single-player starter box. It's $50. So every player needs to have at least this starter box to play the game. All the minis are all the same, so everybody's got the same crew. Now I am showing a miniature by itself. This is the first add-on miniature that will be available for Riot Quest, and it's just a 32mm metal figure, and it's going to carry a $15 MSRP, $14.99. That's outrageous. I mean, I'm like, what? Privateer Press is in big trouble, and I don't see this game being the game that's going to bail them out. And I honestly... I interviewed somebody from Privateer Press about 6 years ago. You can find it on the website. And they were nice. They were cool. They didn't provide any, review stuff or anything. But I don't know. Past couple of years, they've really been getting just shellacked. I don't think their Monster Apocalypse is doing too well. Their revised edition of Monster Apocalypse, the whole Iron Kingdoms thing is falling apart too, although I gotta admit those sculpts were pretty cool, and the rules were fine, but I don't know. I think it's they were dabbling in like Paul Nolan says, it's like old school prices. Old school GW prices. So I don't know. Plus, as I mentioned a previous show, this past year at Gen Con, they had the same like big exhibit area as they normally did. It was a ghost town. It was crickets every time you passed by. So, I don't know. I don't know. Well, that's what happens. You try to rip people off, and I'm not saying they're trying to rip people off. It's just what I've heard, right? I am not in the mix. I do not play Privateer Press miniatures games, but I have heard people were very disappointed with their pricing. Well, that's what kind of turns around and burns you. So, well, we were talking about miniatures. There is a new mashup of miniatures and role-playing that's in early access from Stormforge Productions. And I've got the dope on Enforcer. Enforcer is a miniature-based narrative war game, or a war role-playing game, or a game war role-playing. I made up the last one. In the style of NQ28 games. I am not familiar what an NQ28 game would be. I wonder if that's just like old brown box D&D, where it was just transitioning from like chainmail. I don't know. Anyway, it takes the best of wargaming and RPGs to create an experience of the early skirmish era miniature RPGs. Enforcer is as much about player skill as it is about character skill. A little old school Renaissance. Hey, how come I got that popping up? That's weird. For some reason, my third image for Enforcer did not come across. Anyway, your characters in the dice will tell you if they succeed or fail at any given action, but it's about how you use your characters, about how you strategize and use your tactical skill that will determine if you win or lose any scenario. Enforcer is a physical tabletop game meant for 28mm models. It uses a simple D100 system that keeps the game flowing and the action front and center. The dice aren't the be-all and end-all of Enforcer, however, and your strategies in playing the game will determine your success or failure. Each character is a mixture of stats, traits, weapons, armors, and items, giving you the flexibility to kit out your character and your team to meet the demands of the mission. Enforcer is a lethal game, so make sure they are kitted out well, or they won't survive very long. Those that survive will be better off for it, and by the end of a campaign, you'll have a hearty bunch of soldiers ready to take on anything. Inside Enforcer, you'll find how to create your own character, full rules for playing, covering anything from turns, combat, status effects, and the environment, 9 battle scenarios meant for fun, guts, and glory type games, 4 campaign scenarios that can help shape your character's destiny, sheets for characters, armory, and campaigns, and templates for weapons, character stand-ins, and sample terrain. What in the world is the setting? Well, it's the end of the 23rd century, and Earth is unrecognizable. Most of the oceans have boiled away, and greenery is a luxury. Instead, there are only the mega metropolis cities dotting an empty wasteland. 50 billion souls are packed onto Earth, and tens of billions dot the colonies of the solar system, and they all answer to a single government and a single man. Me. No, not really me. The Emperor of Humanity brooks no nonsense. That's kind of funny. I will brook no nonsense. And rules with an iron fist. Life is tough for the average citizen in the Empire, but they are far beneath your specific concerns. Because you work for an enforcer of the Emperor, you were handpicked for your cunning, skill, pragmatism, brutality, or something else that caught the enforcer's eye. You were uprooted from whatever life you live, and now you fight for the Emperor. Enforcers are the hunters of the Empire, and you are the enforcer's hound. Traitors, rebels, witches, heretics, and anyone who poses a threat to the Empire is fair game. You've been told to do whatever it takes to keep the Empire safe, and you will do exactly that. One day you will die for the Emperor, but until then, you will hunt for him, kill for him, and keep his Empire safe. The early access 74-page PDF of Enforcer is available right now at DriveThruRPG for $4.99. So, gotta point out, so this is in early access. So, Stormforge, the folks at Stormforge reached out to me because Sammy did a review of their Haunt role-playing game. I think she did something else recently too, off the top of my head. That's from Stormforge, and they said, "Hey, you think you guys would like to do a review of this?" And they said it's early access. And I said, well, it's early access, so I don't know. We don't really review stuff that's early access. So it turns out that really this is done. This game is finished. It's in early access. They're calling it early access because they want to use what they raise for artwork, and then they'll add the artwork in. So there you go. So it sounds kind of cool. Sounds almost what was the game? What's the GW game? Games Workshop loves to bring it out every once in a while, and then they retire it, and then they bring it out and they retire it. Isn't it Necromunda? Isn't that the name of it? Where it's kind of like hive cities and stuff, which is, really skirmish level. You've got your gang. So, sounds a little bit like that, kind of. So, in chat, wait, it's Wednesday already? Rob's like, Wednesdays are great! And now everybody's got Quiet Riot stuck in their heads. Alrighty. Okay. So, moving right along, my final news piece. Son of Oak Game Studio and Modiphius Entertainment have released a new introductory starter set for the superhero noir RPG City of Mist. And I've got the dope. In this comic book film noir RPG, you will play ordinary individuals with legendary powers and hit the streets of a haunted modern-day city in search for answers. With a simple but powerful narrative game system and unique character motivation and evolution mechanics, City of Mist will let you experience just what happens when everyday life on the streets awakens to unfathomable mythical forces from within. City of Mist is a role-playing game of film noir investigation and super-powered action. It's set in a modern metropolis, rife with crime, conspiracies, and mysteries. The protagonists are gateways, ordinary people who become the living embodiment of a legend, their mythos. While your gateways may seek to strike a balance between the mysterious nature of their mythos and their mortal aspirations, the powers within them always threaten to tear their lives apart. They have unwittingly become a part of a secret world of clashing stories, and soon other legends will come looking for them with demands. City of Mist is based on the story-driven Apocalypse engine, but it takes a step further into narrative gaming by introducing several new features. Rich character motivations built around compelling mysteries and identities. Follow your character's themes to gain their benefits and evolve them or go against them to discover new aspects with a unique, non-linear character evolution system. No limits for powers, abilities, traits, gear, or allies. Everything in City of Mist is described by free text tags so you can create exactly the character you want. Full-on narrative engine with an edge. Every action you take in the game is based on the interpretation of your tags, using moves to deliver dramatic outcomes that drive the story forward. Status spectrums, a new system of narrative damage. You can use descriptors to create any imaginable setback or advantage so that every action in the fiction, in and out of combat, can have lasting gameplay implications. The 87-page starter set, they're calling it a starter set. So that's kind of interesting that it's a starter set. It is not a quick start, as they like to say. The 87-page starter set PDF is available absolutely free right now over on Drive-Thru RPG. I have heard loads and loads of good things about City of Mists. It has been out for a while in PDF. Here's the weird thing, though. I don't think the physical book has been released because my contact over at Modiphius Entertainment had asked me if I wanted to check out, if I wanted to get a review copy of the core rules. And I thought, aren't they already out? I guess they're not. So we should be seeing City of Mist, the core rulebook, probably within the next couple of weeks we'll be able to dig into it, because I assume that it'll be going out. Yes, it has been out in PDF for a while, hasn't it? By the way, hello, Flaming Huron. Welcome aboard for tonight. Flaming Huron, because you're mentioning you've seen it in PDF. I could have swore it has been out in PDF for months, because there's all these supplements for it. I don't know. That's pretty wild. It is pretty wild. So that is it for today's news. Before I jump into what's coming up on the show for the rest of this week and into next, and do my unboxing for Combat Commander Europe, I want to mention something that I've been popping out. Well, actually, before I get into that, I should probably mention, if you are going to go over to Drive-Thru RPG to go check out that free 87-page starter set for City of Mists, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banners. That way, if you make a purchase on top of that free PDF, I get a small portion. So, forgot to throw that in there. Yes, the Gaming Gang and thus the Daily Dope are affiliates of the One Drive-Thru websites. All right, so anyway, hey, and Kabuki Kids popping in. We got a good chat going tonight. Got quite a few people hanging out. I wonder how tomorrow's gonna go. So, okay, so let me tackle what I was gonna say. So, over on Twitter, I've been tweeting, not every single day, but maybe like every weekday, my Game Master tips of the day. Just, kind of thoughts about, game mastering. So today I had basically tweeted and said, no matter how good an idea it sounds, don't bring real world politics into your game setting. Because even though you think that would probably be pretty cool, it's going to turn out to be not. Well, then all of a sudden I get R. Telsorian Games, do cyberpunk role playing, shoot me like comments about how, well, not everything's fantasy, and you gotta have politics in a cyberpunk game. And somebody else was like, oh well, if you're worried about politics in your game, you're just one of those single white guys who's afraid of diversity at the table. And I was like, where the fuck do you pull that from? It's like, where did you pull that out of a hat? So I had actually commented back, and I said, like, how in the world do you get me being like racist and sexist and stuff like that from me saying don't bring real world politics into your game setting? Now, I didn't say social issues. I said politics. And I even pointed out to this guy who ended up getting blocked. I pointed out to this guy, I said, you got to realize I'm talking politics. I'm not talking social issues. I'm talking politics as defined by Webster's dictionary. Politics. And he's like, oh, well, man, I didn't say that. Why are you getting all worked up? And I was like, dude, you just basically told me I'm sexist and racist. Then you're gonna say, oh, I didn't say that. So I just blocked him. Yes, I dropped an F-bomb, sorry. $1 in the swear jar. I don't have a swear jar. You guys are lucky. I keep my language very, very family friendly a vast majority of the time on this show. Because in the real world, I don't talk like that with my friends. It's a lot of swear words. All right, so I just thought that was weird. I thought, so Unscripted and Unchained says, you are not allowed to not accept their political views. See, that's the whole thing. It's like, you can have politics, but when I'm talking real world politics, I'm talking about things behind like Brexit and, pro-Trump, anti-Trump, all that kind of stuff. Leave it out of your game. Because somebody had actually contacted me and they're like, hey, I think it'd be really cool if you used like real politics, but like in your game setting, like real world politics in your game setting to set the players against each other. Like, no, man. Sorry, that's absolutely not my idea of fun. So Rob Moffat says kids own all his money because of his 55-gallon swear drum. So, and Paul Nolan says, yeah, that kind of thing is happening more and more in the gaming community. Yeah. Politics, well, see, politics are fine if you're talking like social issues. Just like someone else had commented, like, well, how can you have science fiction? Science fiction always has politics. Science fiction doesn't always have politics. Good science fiction always dealt with social issues, not politics. So, unfortunately, a lot of these people don't understand what the word politics means. So, anyway, but yeah, I was kind of like, it was funny because I had a couple of people, I was like, you know what? You're done. Blocked. And I even said, sorry, Rob, gonna swear again. I tweeted something along the lines of, I would appreciate if you don't like tar me with your own sexism and racism bullshit. When I say it's not a good idea to have, real politics around your gaming table, and if you don't like that, I'm more than happy to block any one of you extreme right-wing nuts. Because that's what, I mean, they were like, I was like, yeah, okay. It was kind of strange as far as some of the like really extreme comments that got thrown my way. So I was like, you know what? I got a block button here. I never use it. I'm busting it out. I was like, boom, boom, bam. All right. So anyway, want to point out once again, time is running out on getting in on the contest for Ghosts of Saltmarsh, the limited edition for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons from Wizards of the Coast. All you got to do is be a subscriber. I got to hit 2,000 subscribers. Still just under 1,500, so I don't know. But if I can hit 2,000 subscribers and you are a subscriber and you make comments on any video from the 8th of May to the 20th of May, you're in the running. So help spread the word. Help spread the word to people if they are not subscribers to subscribe to the Daily Dope. Well, the Gaming Gang channel, I should say. So, what's coming up on the show? How about we do a review of the actual standard edition of Ghosts of Saltmarsh, which is on tomorrow's show. That's where I'm thinking we might get another pretty big chat crowd, because we had like 25 people watching live when I did my first look at this, when I did a page through. So I'm thinking, and that video's actually been doing pretty good. Thinking we might get a good crowd for the review. So if you are interested in what I think of this, definitely tune in for tomorrow's show. On Friday, we're going back to back with RPGs. I'm going to be reviewing Things from the Flood from Free League Publishing and Modiphius Entertainment. Yes, it is the follow-up to Tales from the Loop. As I pointed out, Monday, there will not be a show that's live. What I might try to do over the weekend, because as I mentioned, my nephew Cameron, who's part of the gang, is graduating high school this weekend, and we're having a party on Sunday. The graduation's Saturday, party's on Sunday. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to actually shoot a video and then put it up on Monday. So I'm going to look to actually review Sergeant's Red Devils from Lost Battalion Games, as well as some additional expansions and miniatures from Lost Battalion Games. So we are going to actually get a review of that on probably Monday, if I've got time. If I can't pull it off, then we're probably going to push it. So, but on Tuesday, I will be reviewing Traveler Ascension Imperial Warrant from Daring Play Games. So that will be on Tuesday's show. Wednesday, so a week from today. So Rob's sitting there going, oh, we got Scary Game Friday, British Paramilitary Monday, or I guess you should say British Paratrooper Monday. And on Wednesday, I will do my review of Warfighter, the Modern Edition from Dan Verson Games. Also got some other expansions as well. We'll talk about those. So that will be on next Wargame Wednesday. And hopefully Thursday and Friday we'll be taking looks at stuff, because that's a lot of reviews in a row. That is a lot of reviews. So, and reviews tend to be pretty long videos. All right, so before we jump into our unboxing and first look at Combat Commander Europe, I'm just looking over to make sure the box is there. It is. Do want to point out and remind you that the Daily Dope, thus also thegaminggang.com, are not for-profit endeavors. So if you like the website, if you like the show, by all means, please consider making a small donation to Lil Bub's Big Fund and the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Lil Bub's Big Fund does provide grant monies to organizations around the United States who care for special needs animals who are awaiting adoption. These are not kill shelters. These are specifically non-kill shelters. So, always point out, if you're going to adopt a pet, please go to a shelter. Adopt shelter pets. Don't go to puppy mills and nonsense like that. And, by all means, take some time, get yourself a special needs animal. They will repay you 100-fold the love you give them. So, and Lil Bub is pretty interesting. If you ever want to find out more about her, by all means, go check out lilbub.com. Yes, I even have my Lil Bub cup. Good job, Bub. I've got my stuffed bubs behind me. So, very cool, very cool. So, Kabuki Kid says, Warfighter World War II is my flavor. I was a little surprised that Dan Versen Games sent me the modern, not the World War II, but then again, maybe that's out of print. I don't know. I have no idea. There are some cool games that I'm really looking forward to. One is, I want to say it's from Gray Fox Games, their War of the Worlds should be coming out pretty soon, so I'm looking forward to checking that out. Should be pretty sweet. Okay, so I know people are tuning in because I want to check out the unboxing and first look at Combat Commander Europe from GMT Games. It's designed by Chad Jensen with artwork and graphic design provided by Lee Brincombe Wood, Chad Jensen, hey, the designer himself, Roger B. McGowan, Leland Myrick, and Mark Simonich. The game is for 2 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 1 to 3 hours. It's going to depend on the scenario. It also carries an MSRP of $79. Let's move on over to the other camera here. So, this is the 4th printing of Combat Commander Europe. Now, I had mentioned before that I had reviewed Combat Commander Europe, and I was incorrect. It's Combat Commander Pacific that I did my review on. Hey, Kabuki Kid says, I wish they reprint Combat Commander Pacific. Yeah, that's a damn good game. If I remember right, I gave it something like I don't know, 9.3, 9.4, something like that. All right, let's get some of the shrink wrap off of here, and we will dive on in. All right, let me throw the old reading specs on, take a quick sip. Combat Commander Europe is a card-driven board game covering tactical infantry combat in the European theater of World War II. One player takes the role of Germany, while the other player commands either America or Russia. These 2 players will take turns playing 1 or more fate cards from their hands in order to activate units on the map board for various military functions. There is no strict sequence of play to follow in Combat Commander. Each measure of game time is divided into a variable number of player turns, each of which may consist of 1 or more orders conducted by the active player. Actions may generally be conducted by either player at any time. Events, both good and bad, will also occur at random intervals to add a bit of chaos and uncertainty to each player's perfect plan. All right, we're not going to read through all of that, but this is a mid-level complexity. I don't know, a 5 out of 9, and I guess I personally thought it was a little easier to learn than that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's been a long time since the review. So Rob Moffat says the P500 is, I think for Combat Commander Pacific, is close to 500. So, hey, and Glenn Darren's popping in. So I know I've mentioned this a few times before on the show about the P500, and GMT doesn't always wait for just 500 orders, pre-orders for something to go ahead and print it. A lot of times they require a lot more than that. Usually it's about 800. But something like Combat Commander Pacific, something that they know will sell, that I do believe they hit about 500. And Glenn's saying that he received an email saying that it's going to go to print. So that's cool. Very cool. Yeah, Pacific was very nice. I have not played Europe. But let's flip on over and open this up. So we've got various decks of cards. So we've got the American deck. We've got the Russian deck, Soviet deck, whatever you want to consider that. And then we have the German deck. We have a small little package of cards, so we'll have to take a look to see what these are in just a second. But let's look at the rules first. Let's take a peek at the rule book. We've also got a playbook, which I love GMT playbooks. I talk about that all the time. So we get an introduction. Game scale. Each hex of combat commander map measures approximately 100 feet across, 30 meters or so. Each unit in the game is approximated as either a single leader, a 5-man team, or a 10-man squad. Radios and individual weapons, at least those larger than a bar, rifle, or pistol, are represented by their own counters. So we got a bit of a glossary. We talk about the components, showing our cards, kind of a breakdown of the different cards here. So we've got the photograph right here, which is off of one. This photo was used for one of the advanced squad leader? No, I think it was just squad leader. One of the squad leader expansions way back in the day from Avalon Hill. And I'll kind of bring this up. Hopefully this doesn't get really too out of focus, but yeah, because I remember that image. So very cool, very cool. All right, so talking about the components, the fake cards, golden rule. Some card effects conflict with one or more rules within this booklet. For example, the interrogation event conflicting with rule 1.2 below. When this occurs, the card effect always takes precedence. Talking about hand size, card knowledge, revealing cards, die triggers. Now you can tell that this is an older design from GMT because we're not seeing a lot of images. We normally see a bunch of images in the newer rule books. We've got examples here in these gray boxes. Normally these examples we would see accompany a bunch of images. So you can always kind of get an impression when the game was originally released based on how the rulebook looks from GMT. And this is copyright 2006. So here we go. Examples of line of sight. Talking about initiative, weapons, general rules, activating your units, passing, advancing. Got melee, artillery requests, fire for effects, spotting, fire combat, opportunity fire, movement, different actions. So we've got ambush, assault fire, bore sighting, command confusion, concealment, crossfires, demolitions. Lots of goodies here. Hand grenades. We got light wounds, marksmanship, smoke grenades. So this is more along the lines of somebody who might be interested in learning, like, say, squad leader, advanced squad leader, but don't have like 30 years to actually learn the game. This is probably a good alternative. I'm teasing Multi-Man Publishing. I'm teasing. I gotta be honest. I never played Advanced Squad Leader. I played Squad Leader. I played some of the expansions to Squad Leader, but I don't recall ever playing Advanced Squad Leader. I thought Squad Leader itself was complex enough. Although I enjoyed it, I really liked it. I used to whoop Elliot Miller's butt. Elliot Miller, my best friend, who I refer to all the time over at voiceofe.com. So we got suppressing fire terrain rules here. Got fortifications and an index. Okay, then we've got the playbook, which is actually a bit thicker because our rule book is 23 pages here. This feels a little thicker, but it looks like it's the same number of pages. So see what we've got here as far as the playbook. So we've got historical scenario setup. So we've got our different scenarios here. So we've got scenario 1, Fat Lipke, hedgerows and hand grenades, bonfire of the NKVD, closed for renovation. Looks like we're kind of alternating between Americans and Germans and Russians. Okay. And they're all kind of bouncing around from year to year. So for an example, scenario 4 saying it's 1944. Scenario 5 is saying it's 1941. So, paralyzed from the west down. Bessarabian Nights. Okay. Breakout Dance. Rush to Contact. So we've got a 1943 and 45 scenario there. So we got quite a few scenarios here. Commando School, Hold the Line. And Misty Mountain, which has absolutely nothing to do with Lord of the Rings. Rob Moffat says Chad rocked it out with Combat Commander. Yeah, definitely. Upfront. I like they're talking about Upfront. Yeah, Upfront is basically Squad Leader, the card game. Yeah, that is very true. And unfortunately, they're going to see that new revised edition. Yeah, that's too bad. Although you can get, I think, on Wargame Vault, Avalon. Well, I shouldn't say Avalon Hill. Hasbro said it was okay for them to actually put the scans of Upfront on Wargame Vault. So at least I know a lot of people are out a lot of money for backing that Kickstarter, but at least it's you can get your hands on kind of the original print on demand. So then we get into design and playtest notes. There you go. There's Chad Jensen right there. We were talking about Kai yesterday, how she mainly does the development on pretty much every Chad Jensen game design. So Dan from Nomad Enemies here says there's a love-hate relationship with this game. Some people really dislike the lack of dice. So we got an example of play here. Got a random scenario generator as well. And then we've got a bit of a player aid on the back. So we've got the playbook. I think the biggest complaint I've heard from people is usually the fact that there are, there's no dice. That your dice are actually on your cards. So, and some people don't like that. I don't know if I'm necessarily a big fan of that either, but I didn't really bother me that much. Okay, so we got the victory track. We've got the OB display for troop quality, casualty track, time track, track display. We've got American orders of battle right here. Might as well zoom in a little bit. We'll take a better look. Got the American orders of battle, American support table as well, German orders of battle. Obviously, there's support tables on the back here. Got the Russians and their support tables. Got time. This is a player aid here. It's only single-sided. Time marker advancement, fire attack, melee, die triggers, unit victory point values. hand size, 6 cards if attacker, 5 cards if recon, 4 cards if defending, stacking. Then we've got a terrain chart. This is also single-sided as well. So we've got those. Then we've got some counter sheets. Got 3 of them. Let's zoom a little more in here. So this first counter sheet we're looking at looks like we've got some of the Russians here. A lot of informational tokens, a lot of informational counters. The counters are traditional hex encounter game size. So they are not they're not big chunky, say like Flying Pig Games inch or 3/4 of an inch. These are 1/2 inch. Paul Nolan says, I miss the old Avalon Hill games. So yes, Rob Moffat says, attention, counter tray needed. Yep, definitely counter tray needed. I'm sure we've got some Ziploc baggies, but so let's take a look at the back here. But yeah, I would certainly need to bust out ye old reading specs to be able to make these out, because even like broken light machine gun, I mean, that printing is really small. So fix it on a 1 or a 2, eliminate on a 7 to 10. So that is the first counter sheet. Here's the second counter sheet. So we've got Americans and Germans on this one. And of course, dual-sided. Counters are decent thickness. They're not real thick. But then again, you probably wouldn't want 1/2 inch counters to be super thick either. So Kabuki Kid says, doesn't come with a tray. Nothing comes with counter trays anymore. You'll get games that come with kind of like plastic inserts a lot of times. But nobody gives you any counter trays with Wargames anymore. Of course, I'm saying this. Watch, we'll dig in the box. There'll be one. I highly doubt it. I really, really doubt it. All right, so we've got Russians. It looks like we've got some more Americans as well. So we've got some paratroopers and engineers. We've got some leaders here. We've got some sergeants, corporals, lieutenants, and of course, once again, these are dual-sided. Good artwork, like the artwork. I'm one of these people, I like seeing, like soldiers on a counter. I'm just not a big, iconography guy. To me, the icons look a little boring. So Glenn says, my copy of third printing came with at least 1 tray. I have 2 in the box, but I think I may have gotten the second on my own. So Rob Moffat says, got some counter clipping to do there. No. No, we don't. No, we do not. Look at that. Look at that. So here I am talking schmack, and there is a counter tray. That is hysterical. I gotta say, I swear, I think this is the first time I've seen a counter tray in a GMT game. Seriously. Because it's usually tons of baggies. Yes, Paul Nolan's like, and there it is. Wow. I'm going to just bask in this for a moment. Because, you know what? I swear. I mean, outside of like inserts that kind of look like counter trays, this is the only counter tray I have in my possession of all my games. This is the only counter tray I actually have now. It's a first. So that's pretty funny. Okay, so we got a bunch of maps. So we're going to kind of take a look at the maps. I'll zoom out. Let's zoom out to check out the maps here so we can kind of try to get as much of these as we can into it. So these are dual-sided, so we've got lots and lots of... actually, what do we got here? Like, I think there's like 8 maps. Well, there were 12 scenarios, so I'm taking a guess maybe we've got 12 maps. So, it's the first one. Let's just do them like this. Second one. The terrain's fairly basic. Not as detailed as, say, Squad Leader. Although it's like, maps. Baggies are for cannabis. That is not something I would know about. At least these days. I would not. Yeah, back in the day, maybe. Alright, so we've got the other one here. Yeah, I'm looking to see. Where's the indication of like what map number this is? But I really don't. Let's take a look on this side here. Oh, okay, there we go. Up here. It says 1. I'm like, where's the map number? 1 and 4. That's kind of weird. Okay, it's got that. Okay, there we go. This is map number 5. Map number 8. And these maps are not just paper. There is a finish to them, so these should last you. I'm sure those out there who like to put the plexiglass on top of their maps are like, yay! Now there's a lot going on map 6. This is a pretty urban area, I guess. Or, yeah, maybe it's industrial. And we're going to follow that up with railroad tracks running through forested area. Yep, so Rob Moffat says 12 maps, 6 double-sided. Oh, so it looks like this is a farm? Yeah, we got looks like we've got some fields here. It's on map 6. Then we got map 12. Let's flip it over this way. Got map 12 here. So a lot of variety with the maps, at least. So that's cool. And we got big hexes, too. These hexes are way bigger than an inch. And these hexes are like 1.25 inches. So Rob Moffat's like, yeah, these maps are great with plexi. Yeah, I'm just one of these mounted map snobs. I know. I'm a mounted map snob who does not clip his counters. There you go. Alright, so those are the maps. Now, we're going to take a look at some of the cards. I'm going to zoom back in on these. So, alrighty. So as I mentioned, I said, okay, so I dig card-driven games. And this is very card-driven, obviously enough. But the complaint that I have usually heard about the Combat Commander series is people don't like that there are no dice. That the die results are, the fire results, dice results are located on the cards. So some people don't dig that. But I didn't have that big a deal with it. To me personally, if it's that crushing a blow for you, that you've got your die rolls there on the card, just roll some dice. Just ignore that. Roll your dice. It's not exactly how the game is designed, but you can still get away with it. All right, so we got. Hey, this is more artwork from from Squad Leader, isn't it? Not artwork, I should say, another photograph that was utilized. Rob Moffat says the dice rolls on the cards is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't mind it. Doesn't bother me really. So we got some recover orders. Then we've got the actions: assault fire, hand grenades, spray action. Then we got events down here: place foxholes in a random hex from shell holes, rubble, strategic objective, killed in action, eliminate one broken unit, So even though you see that the order up top, they're all recover, and the artwork, or I shouldn't say artwork, the image is the same. Down here, these other sections are different, of course. And of course, we get different die rolls as well. So we've got route. Move, we should probably have a bunch of these. I would assume we'll have a bunch of these move orders. So we get crossfire, event blaze. It looks like fire breaking out, I guess. Concealment reconnaissance. Concealment deploy. Command confusion. There we go. Artillery denied. Artillery request. Got a few of those. Artillery denied again. Action. Hidden wire. Command confusion. Advance. Should have a few of these. So, Rob Moffat says, I still got Quiet Riot stuck in my noggin. Okay, I'm not going to bust out singing it, but... So we got Light Wounds, Command Confusion, Route again, Action, Order, Action, Fire. Should have a bunch of these. Smoke Grenades, Ambush, Ambush, Ambush. No Quarter. Demolition. So... with these cards, and once again, you're not going to have a huge hand of cards. If I remember right, I think we just saw it's like if you're the attacker, you get 6. If you're the defender, you get 4. If you're doing reconnaissance, you get 5. So, of course, when you're using the cards, you're going to use them for a variety of different things. And if I remember correctly, it has been a long time since I played this. Played the Pacific one. If I remember correctly, you'll have your hand of cards, right? So you got your hand of cards. If you need to have a die result, if you need to get a dice roll result, you'll actually flip the next card. So it's not like you're using the cards in your hand for die results, if I remember correctly. So, all right, so we've got, those are the German Fate decks. We'll real quickly run through the American and Russian because they're pretty much the same kind of actions and stuff like that. We'll just have different artwork and stuff. So you got recover, route, move, another route. Artillery denied. Artillery request. Dig in. Hidden entrenchments. Command confusion. Advancing. So forth. So, like I said, we get different artwork, of course. So, we're seeing American troops on the cards here. It would have been nice if we had a lot more variety in the photography, but yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so that's the American deck. Let's take a look at the Ruskies real quick. The Ruskies. Speaking of Ruskies, I have watched the first 2 episodes of Chernobyl on HBO. It is excellent. Wow, is that good. Scary too, in a real world way. So like, whoa. So, Rob Moffat says, I need more Wargames, damn it. Hey, Lead Magnet's popping in. Good deal. I didn't see Lead pop in. Hey, good to see you, Lead Magnet. All right, so we got recover, route, move, advance, artillery denied. Womp, 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 womp. Command confusion. Artillery request. Move. Fire. Got a bunch of fire here. Alright. So these are the Russian cards. So the Russian deck. Command confusion. Now let's take a quick look at these little cards here. Because I kind of think these might be along the lines of like little player aid cards as far as like the actions maybe. So, okay, so this says initiative here. I don't remember this card off the top of my head. It says immediately after a die roll is made, you may pass control of this card to your opponent in order to have that roll canceled and re-rolled. If after a sudden death roll ends the game and all VPs are tallied, the two sides are tied. The VP marker is in the 0 space. The winner in possession of this card wins the game. Ugh, I would hate to play an entire scenario and have it come down to who owns the initiative card at the end. Okay, so here we got the objective chits, talking about the various different objectives, how many victory points they are worth. There you go, yeah. So these are kind of little player aid cards, because it's showing America, talking about the different orders, how many there are of each card. So you're not sitting there going, damn, man, I'm waiting for another recover card. We call it the snivel card. Okay, so we've got the actions for America, Germany, and Russia. So that's what these little cards are. All right, so we have... Let's get these back in here. Pop back out here as well. So we've got the 6 different dual-sided maps. We've got the counter tray, amazingly enough. I'm telling you. I can't think of another game I've got from GMT that's got a counter tray. So we've got the counter tray, we've got the 6 dual-sided maps, we have 3 counter sheets. We've got a variety of player aids, as well as the victory point track, casualty track. We've got the playbook with all 12 scenarios and design notes and such. We've got the rule book. Then we've got the Russian deck, the German deck, and the American Fate deck, as well as the player aid and initiative cards. Of course, I'm going to put these decks in little baggies. And that is what we find when we take everything from Combat Commander Europe outside the box and take a first look. Cool beans. As I mentioned before, Combat Commander Europe is for 2 players, ages 14 and up. Plays in about an hour to 3 hours, depending on your scenario. And it does carry an MSRP of $79. As I always point out when I'm talking about GMT Games, do not, as I pick it up in all the cards, I just heard them go boom, boom. Yeah, it'll be easy to sort those out. Anyway, I always like to point out that don't sit on your hands when you're thinking of picking up a GMT release. Now, granted, this is the 4th printing of Combat Commander Europe. We already were talking in chat that we'll see a Pacific Combat Commander hopefully in the near future. I would say usually when it hits the going to press, we don't see it for like 9 months. It's like 6 to 9 months because it's got to be made over in China. So anyway, don't sit on your hands. If you are interested in picking up Combat Commander Europe, do not waste time. It is still available through GMT. I took a peek earlier today. This will sell out pretty quickly. So, and you don't want to be stuck there 6 months from now and being like, wow, I really wish I had gotten Combat Commander Europe. I guess I'll go to eBay and pay way more than you needed to pay in the first place on the secondary market. So I always float that out there. All right, so that is it for tonight's show. Beer and war games go together. Well, yeah, beer and pretzel games. We used to play a lot of beer and pretzel stuff. So, and we would actually drink beer. So, pretty cool. So, Rob Moffitt says, buy the damn game and swear when you buy it. That's right. Buy the game. Anyway, as I said, that's it for tonight's show. Tomorrow, I will be back. I will be reviewing Ghosts of Saltmarsh, the standard edition for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons from Wizards of the Coast. So tune in for that. And as I always like to say, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. By now, you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com and tell your friends. So, everybody enjoy the rest of your Wednesday nights. As I mentioned, I will be back tomorrow. Everybody in chat, we had a good chat running all through the show. Pretty cool. I think we had about 13 people tops, at least taking part in chat, at least from what I could see. So pretty cool. So everybody in chat, thank you very much for keeping me company tonight. And of course, those of you who watched live didn't chime in, or those of you who are watching after the fact, thank you very much for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.